Part 29. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Ching Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 281. Don't you feel pity for a child who is born without a father? Don't you feel it's a sin for my daughter to be a single mother? You said before that you would give my daughter 1 million and a house when she gave birth to a child. Now that you have a child, can you still give it to my daughter after she gives birth to a child? Lei Gai Miao, I give it, after all, it is my son's child, my grandson. My little son, I don't believe it. If you want me to see your sincerity, then immediately give the money to my daughter and transfer the house to my daughter. Otherwise, I will not let my daughter give birth to a child. Lei Gai Miao explained, how can I give it now? The child hasn't come out yet. If there is an accident and the child can't come out, wouldn't you get 1 million and a house in vain? My little Taeyang was very dissatisfied with what she said. What nonsense are you talking about? Your child can't come out. Don't make us look so miserable. Just write an agreement in advance. If there is an emergency, the money and house will be returned to you, otherwise you can sue us in court. According to the law, you can definitely win. Lei Gai Miao, that would be so troublesome. My little son, since you don't agree, then I can only let my daughter beat this child. My mother-in-law, Lei Gai Miao wanted to say something else, but someone else had already hung up the phone. Lei Gai Miao called several more times, but couldn't get through, so she had to go to her husband to discuss countermeasures. My little son, do you really want your daughter to beat the child? The only option is to fight, because everyone over there has such an attitude. Although the child is very pitiful, if he is born without the love of his father and grandparents, it would be better not to be born at all. Agree upstairs. +1. My little son, I will have my daughter aborted. My daughter is still young, only in her 20s. I don't want her to ruin the rest of her life. Xiaoning Xuan, it is true that the only option is to have a shot. You can go to the hospital for a prenatal checkup. Even if the child is born, there will still be some defects. This is one of the reasons why the man's parents will dislike it. My little Taeyang was startled. The child has a defect? What defect? Xiaoning Xuan, it's a defect that will cause pain to both the child and you, and even if he grows up, he won't be able to have children in the future. Then this child must not be kept. Yes, rather than making the child suffer, it would be better not to have come to this world in the first place. It's not that I'm cruel, but I also feel that this child cannot be kept. My little Taeyang immediately cried, my poor daughter, I really want to keep that child. If there is really a problem, she will definitely be very sad. Xiaoning Xuan, you can go to the hospital for examination and listen to the doctor's opinion. The month is still young, so you still have time to make a decision, but you must hurry up. When the month is older, it will be troublesome. My little son, okay, thank you host. Xiaoning Xuan, if there are no questions, I will end the connection. There is none left. Xiaoning Xuan ended the connection. Next, the 10th person who clicks the clothes from Xingxia Garment Factory are really good will be qualified to tell fortunes. It will still be limited to those who bought the clothes. My little Taeyang's daughter will eventually abort the child after listening to the doctor's advice. Although I will be immersed in sadness for a long time, there is nothing I can do about it. It means that people have to go through a lot of hardships. After the hardships, there will be a brighter tomorrow. After she meets her second Mr. Right, life will gradually get better. Soon, the fortune teller appeared. Xiaoning Xuan, Actor King, please pay. Actor Wan quickly paid and got connected. A man wearing a hat appeared in the live broadcast room. This person's name is a bit arrogant. Haha, he must be a young actor who really wants to be famous. It is good to have ambition. But this name is indeed a bit arrogant. If he becomes famous, it will be a black history, and people will think that he is not a humble person. Xiaoning Sun, Actor King, what do you want to do? The actor king ignored the barrages that hurt him and said, Anchor, I am a young actor. I had already finalized a drama before and even took the stills, but the crew suddenly didn't want me. I was very disappointed in that drama. Like, I want to know, when can I get a suitable role again? When can I become a first-line actor? I know this actor, I have seen his films. I like to watch TV series the most. This person seems to have played a lot of supporting roles, but they are all beside the protagonist. I also know that one of my favorite actors, Suo Hongfeng, almost filmed a movie with him. I am also a fan of Suo Hongfeng upstairs, and so am I when I followed him. I also saw this actor named Liu. Yes, it's called Liu. The anchor I am a fan of is really amazing, even people in the entertainment industry know her. Liu smiled awkwardly, have you recognized me? I was a little anxious too, so I came to the anchor and bought the clothes in the anchor's window for my sister. I lost my parents when I was a child. I grew up in a relative's home. I received a lot of looks from my childhood. Fortunately, I was discovered by a talent scout and entered the entertainment industry. But I was really unlucky. A few months ago, my sister found out that leukemia costs a lot of money. I thought my sister's medical expenses were stable, but she was replaced by the crew this month. It's really a disaster. Don't worry, there are so many people here watching. If everyone donates a few dollars to you, your sister will be saved. Yeah, let's give him gifts, he doesn't look easy. Just do your best, after all, it is a human life. That's right, that's right. He Yuan Yang and He Yuan Hui looked at each other. Why did this man make them feel like a beggar? Liu hurriedly said, no need to donate money to me, I can bear it. As soon as he finished speaking, people in the live broadcast room could clearly see that his eyes were red and he silently turned his head to wipe away his tears. So pitiful, but also a good brother. Donate some money to him, we have more strength. That is, it is enough for us to drink one less cup of milk tea tomorrow. He Yuan Yang took out his mobile phone and sent a message to the group of the three of them. There must be something wrong with this guy. He Yuan Hui, yes, it makes me feel disgusting, as if I'm here just to be miserable. Xiaoning Sun, your feeling is right. She was very pleased that her cousin and cousin were pretty good at judging people. Xiaoning Sun narrowed his eyes slightly and said coldly, everyone, please don't donate for the time being. There is something wrong with this person. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 282. If you dare to use her popularity in the live broadcast room to make money, don't blame her for being rude. I also think that this person talks like tea. It always feels disgusting for a man to be so coy and pretentious, and to burst into tears in the live broadcast room. Yeah, it's like he came here to cry miserably and wait for people to pity him. Liu said, Anchor, what's wrong with me? You can't insult me just because I look a little feminine, right? Xiaoning Sun, I didn't attack your appearance. It was a water friend who said it. Go to whoever said it. Don't try to blame me. Originally, I knew you would definitely return the goods, so I didn't want to tell your fortune. But for everyone's sake, I'll answer your question. If you don't get a satisfactory role in your life, of course you won't be able to become a first-line actor. In his previous life, this person was the first to expose the scandal of contact with contraband, which put the Nanjin's Wan that was about to go through the trial broadcast out of reach. She hasn't paid much attention to entertainment news recently. It's probably because the news about this person hasn't spread yet and only people in the entertainment industry know about it. Liu suddenly became angry, Anchor, how can you say that to me? How come it's impossible for me to receive it? Why is it impossible for me in this life? Wow, this person shows his true colors. You speak so fiercely. It felt like he was going to kill someone. This person doesn't give me a very good feeling. He asked the anchor a question, and the anchor answered him. He got angry when he was not satisfied. He is such a fickle man. Xiaoning Xuan, I am a fortune teller, and I am just telling the truth. It is indeed impossible for you to act again. As for the reason, you know what you have done. The crew of the story of Nanjin also found out about your dark things. History, that's why they abandoned you. Do you think they are willing to use a person who may be exposed to scandal at any time? No, using scandal is a light term and should be a crime. Lei was surprised. Could this person actually count all the things he had done in the past? Illegal crime? It seems that this person is a criminal. If I were a member of the crew, I wouldn't dare to use him. Wait, he broke the law and committed a crime? So is what he just said about his sister suffering from leukemia true or false? Xiaoning Xuan, it's true that my sister has leukemia, and he won't pretend to be a sister. After all, she still wants to be a first-line actor. It's just that her sister is not short of money at all, and she is a cousin. Okay, how dare you defraud us of our money? I really believed what he said. Fortunately, the anchor stopped us in time, otherwise my money would have been wasted. It's better to give him nothing than to give it to him upstairs. You can still hear the sound of giving it to him. If you give it to him, who knows what he will do? Agree upstairs. Lei's eyes instantly turned sinister. This man was so powerful. She actually knew everything about him. He sent a message to the anchor's private message. Xiaoningsun opened the private message and saw it read, Anchor, as long as you can take back what you just said about me cheating money and committing illegal crimes, I can give you 10 million. Xiaoningsun replied, you are a person who relies on cheating to make a living, but you can get 10 million? I believe you are a ghost. Turning around, she posted his message to her live broadcast room, it is impossible to bribe the anchor. Liu was almost angry to death. This anchor was so unsatisfied. This person is so disgusting, he actually wants the anchor to change his story. That is, who is the anchor? How could he value his money? That is, anchors need money and can earn it themselves. Anchor, kick this person out of the live broadcast room. It's annoying to watch. He's a liar. Xiaoning Xuan, I'm not busy. I called the police. The police will be looking for him soon as she finished speaking, before the water friends could react, a group of policemen suddenly kicked in the door. Lei was startled when he heard the police pointing a gun at him. Hold your head with your hands and slowly lean against the wall. Lei was desperate and could only do as he was told. After a while, a policeman suddenly came into the camera with a bag of things, found it, the evidence is conclusive. The police quickly handcuffed Liu. A policeman quickly closed down Liu's live broadcast room, as if he had already known that he was live broadcasting. If I read it correctly just now, those are contraband, right? You read that right. This person really doesn't believe in evil. He has a stain on his own, yet he dares to come to the anchor. That is, our anchors will not let a bad person go. Anchor, what is the fate of that person? Xiaoning Xuan, of course it's the death penalty. Will just hiding contraband be punishable by death? Xiaoning Xuan, of course not. He has committed other crimes. He will be punished for several crimes at the same time. He is not innocent if he is sentenced to death. I see. There is now one less scum in the entertainment industry. Those girls won't be sad anymore. They also stopped their losses in time. Xiaoning Xuan, everyone, let's start competing for the third spot now. The fifth person who gets fortune telling and buys my clothes can become the third person. People in the live broadcast room began to compete for spots again. After a while, Jiaoningsun said, "Congratulations to the workaholic. Workaholics apply for a connection after paying." Jiaoningsun clicked to agree, and a man appeared in the camera. He Yuan Yang and He Yuan Hui looked at each other. The clothes of Xingxia garment factory are all for women. Why are there 3 people connected, and 2 of them are men? Jiaoningsun was not too surprised. This man also bought it for the woman in his family. "Hello, workaholic, what do you want to do?" Workaholic: "Hello anchor, I work in a company and am now a supervisor. In my opinion, my monthly salary is not bad, it can reach 15,000, but I haven't had a break for more than a month. I sleep 4 hours a day. My body is really struggling. I asked my boss when I could rest, but he said that he gave me such a high salary every month and asked me to contribute more to the company. Recently, let me not think about it. My family members all advised me to just endure it and it will be over, then I won't be so busy anymore and I will have some rest time. They also cook delicious food for me in different ways every day because I was under great pressure and ate too much. I gained more than 20 pounds in a month. But my friend said that work is not as important as life. If I continue like this, I will easily die suddenly, and obesity will also make me sick. I also think what he said is reasonable, but I really can't bear the salary of 15,000 a month. I just want to ask, what will the company do to me if I miss work for 1 day? Also, if I leave my job later, can I still find such a good job? Can the salary still reach 15,000 a month? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Chen Chen. Chapter 283. Chapter 283, Acting for Heaven. 10,050 a month, if I can earn that much, I can do it every day without rest. Yes, I only have a few thousand a month, and I am as tired as a dog. If I had a monthly salary of 15,000, I could take the initiative to work overtime. Yes, that's right, workaholics, just be content. Many people can't even think of such a high salary. In my opinion, it is better not to resign casually. The current situation is not good. If you look for a job again, it is very likely that you will not find anything better than this. But no matter how important money is, life is not important. My friend who is a workaholic is right, if you die, it will be useless no matter how much money you make. Jiaoningsun, the company is very busy right now. If you miss work for a day, you will be scolded and your salary will be deducted. If you leave your job, you will not find a job with a salary of 15,000 yuan. Workaholics are relieved to hear that if they miss work for a day, they will only be scolded. But after hearing that he had resigned and found that he could not find a job with such a high salary, he became a little anxious. People in the live broadcast room saw the workaholic lost in thought, and some people became anxious. What else are you thinking about? You definitely can't resign. That is, just take a day off from work and rest, don't quit. He is already 15,000 a month, and he must have saved a lot of money before. Even if he can't find such a good job for a while, he won't starve to death. I will regret it even if I don't starve to death. I will have a strong sense of gap in the future and regret it very much. I think, as a workaholic, if you can persist, just persist for a while. Agree upstairs. Jiaoningsun raised his eyebrows and said, "Workaholic, in fact, even if you don't resign, you won't be able to stay in that company for long." The workaholic was stunned. Why is this? Are they going to fire me? Jiaoningsun, no, it's just that several senior executives in your company are suspected of illegal crimes, and the company will go bankrupt soon. Alas, you are unlucky. If you didn't come to tell fortunes, she might not be able to figure out the illegal and criminal activities of that company. But now that she has figured it out, she cannot turn a blind eye and can only call the police. Otherwise, the final result of a workaholic is to be implicated by his leader and spend the rest of his life in prison. After saying that, she walked outside and called the police. The content was that the workaholic's company was suspected of tax evasion, the chairman was suspected of murder and dumping, and several other high-level executives were involved in illegal activities such as smuggling and murder. In order to get those bad guys to plead guilty as soon as possible, she also provided the locations of various evidences and witnesses. The police received her call and took action. What's going on today? Why are there so many people breaking the law? Haha, the anchor is doing justice for heaven. It can only show that there are really many bad people in this world. Workaholics, I don't know whether you are lucky or unlucky. The anchor left temporarily and went to call the police. Some rich people just ignore the law. People like anchors should report them more, so that society can be peaceful. The workaholic said anxiously, "Anchor? Are you telling the truth? If I lose my job, I will be miserable." Chiaoning Suan, really, the police have already set off to the company and are arriving now. The workaholic suddenly cried, "Then what should I do? My wife thought my salary was high before, so she gave me a mortgage. Apartment. Don't look at my current salary of 15,000 yuan, but I have to pay back a house loan of 4,000 yuan a month, a car loan of 3,000 yuan, and the remaining 8,000 yuan, I have to give my parents back home 3,000 yuan a month. There are only 5,000 left. My wife has not gone out to work. These 5,000 yuan are needed to support our family of 3. The children's education is expensive and they get sick from time to time. In addition to the mortgage, I now owe my friend 30,000 yuan. Anchor, you just said that I can't find a job with a salary of 15,000, and I can't pay my mortgage. It is estimated that the house will be repossessed by the bank and auctioned soon. I will have no house again, and my children will rent a house with me. Woo woo. This is like working hard for half a life, and coming back still renting a house. It turns out that people with a salary of 15,000 yuan have a hard time. People who can live comfortably with a salary of 15,000 yuan are those who have no car or house loans, are not married, have no children, have parents who are not often sick at home, and have pensions. I am not envious. I earn 4,000 a month and my life is better than that of a workaholic. Me too, I have no mortgage, I live in my family's house, and my life is very comfortable. The corners of Jiaoningsun's mouth twitched. Why were so many people crying in her live broadcast room today? Okay, I said you can't find a job with a monthly salary of 15,000 yuan, but I didn't say you can't find a job with a monthly salary of 16,000, 17,000, 18,000, 20,000 yuan. The workaholic was stunned and wiped his tears violently. Really? You mean, even if I lose my job this time, I can find a job with a higher salary than before? Yes. This person can be considered a client of Jiaoning Suan. There is no way she can cause him to lose his job. Haha. The anchor just seemed to be saying that he couldn't find a job with a monthly salary of 15,000 yuan. Damn it, he just couldn't find a job with a monthly salary of 15,000 yuan. The anchor is playing a word game. Look at something that scares people. Workaholic, you are crying in vain. The workaholic asked again, then when can I find a job again? Jiaoning Suan, within a month. The benefits of the next company will only be better than those of your last company. The workaholic was relieved and said, Anchor, if what you said is true, I will buy clothes again and give them to my wife. Jiaoning Suan, okay. After ending the connection, Jiaoning Suan went backstage to check the sales volume of clothes. All the links added up have exceeded 30,000 orders. However, Some transactions were completed during the live broadcast. It seems that thousands of orders were cancelled because they were not selected for fortune telling. But in addition to chargebacks, more than 30,000 transactions were made. Jiaoning returned to the live broadcast room with a sincere look on her face. Thank you all for your support. We will deliver the goods within the promised time, so please wait patiently. If you are not satisfied with the clothes after you get them, please don't buy them. If you want to comment, please contact customer service first and we will try our best to solve the problem for you. Okay, it's very late now, bye everyone. After it was confirmed that Jiaoning was off the broadcast, He Yuanyang came to her side excitedly. Cousin, our transaction volume has reached tens of thousands. He Yuanhuadeo said, the net profit is at least several million. I didn't expect that selling clothes can be so profitable. I can sell so much in one night. Jiaoning, of course the online trading volume is very good, but we don't have so many goods yet, so we have to work overtime to produce them. With the current ability of Xingxia Garment Factory, it will take at least 10 days to put out so many clothes. Finished production, packaging and shipping. End of this chapter. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Chen. Chapter 284. He I understand, that is, this is the trading volume for 10 days. Jiaoning, you can also say that in my next live broadcast, I will not take the initiative to sell clothes, but they can place orders on the homepage. He yes, I understand. Suddenly thinking of something, He Yuanhu's eyes lit up and he said, Cousin, I accidentally saw a video of you selling Lucky Charms on Dolphin Video. Your Lucky Charms seem to be very powerful. Can you give me and my eldest brother one each? Jiaoning sighed and said, unfortunately, my talisman is of no use to people who are related to me by blood. If it is to be useful, my talisman will only be useful as a way to break the curse if you are cursed. Ah, that's it. He Yuanhui felt a little regretful. Jiaoning, you want to use your lucky charm to buy lottery tickets, right? Yes. Then you don't have to regret it. The money you can earn from Lucky Charm is more than you can make from going to the rough stone market. I'll take you to the rough stone market tomorrow. While they are still studying, accumulate more money for them, so that when they graduate, they will have more choices. The two brothers were overjoyed at the same time, talked for a while, and left in a happy mood. Jiaoning shook his head helplessly and went to wash up. After all, we are all ordinary people, and it is normal to love money. At noon, she received a call from Du Kunpeng. At the same time that Jiaoning turned off the live broadcast, the workaholic also received a call from his accounting colleague. It's so late, are you okay? The accounting colleague said anxiously, can you take me in? My boss has been found out for asking me to make false accounts, and the police are coming to arrest me. I don't dare to go to my parents' house, I can only think of you. The workaholic sneered, do you still remember how you made things difficult for me when I came to you to report the debt? Sometimes you said that the filling in here was incorrect, sometimes you said you were unavailable, and sometimes you said I had to get off work, and I would come back to you another day. Until now, I still have 1,000 business trip invoices that have not been reimbursed. Now that you think of me, what did you do? Accounting colleague, don't you just want money? I'll give it to you. As long as you take me in, I'll give you 10,000, no, 20,000. Workaholic, no need, I don't want to be accused of harboring a prisoner. You are bringing it upon yourself. Go to prison and reflect on what you have done. After saying that, he hung up the phone and blocked the person. It's so cool. It's so cool. Early the next morning, Jiaoning put all the fungi into the truck as usual, packed up his things, and prepared to go out. While she was still getting ready, she heard someone arriving downstairs. Going downstairs, I saw it was Zhang Lily. It has been more than a month since I last treated her for hair loss. Zhang Lily saw Xiao Ningxun coming down and quickly put the gift at her feet. Ningxun, I really want to thank you for my hair. You see, in just over a month, it has grown by 2 centimeters. And not a single one fell off. I counted the time, and by the time of the Chinese New Year, I would be able to have a hairstyle and a beautiful outfit. Xiao Ningxun motioned to the cousin who had just come over to lift the gift and put it aside, and said seriously, it will be fine as long as it grows. I will check your pulse again and arrange the medicine again. Zhang Lily nodded, then I'll trouble you. After a while, after seeing off Zhang Lily, Xiao Ningxun looked at Zhang Fuxian and Ren Quanshan. You two, come with us to a place today and drive away both cars. Commercial cars and trucks have been driven away. Although she had previously stipulated which person should drive which car, sometimes she needed to be flexible. For example, Xiao Ningxun is going to the rough stone market today. The rough stone is very heavy and will definitely require a strong man to carry it. So she told Zhang Zayadai yesterday that she and Guan Qinfu would drive to the shop together today. Zhang Fuxian and Ren Quanshan drove their 2 cars to meet Du Kunpeng at the agreed place, and then went to the rough stone market together. In this way, you can also help her move the rough stones. The 2 of them nodded. Yes, little boss. On the way, Xiao Ningxun took out his mobile phone, opened the stock trading software, and looked at the stocks. She has the ability to tell fortunes and has the memory of past lives. She has also studied stocks in her past lives and knows which stocks are potential stocks that can be quickly realized. It would be a pity if she knew that she could make a fortune by investing in the stock market but did not make it. He Yuanhui glanced at his cousin's cell phone and asked, Cousin, are you also interested in stock trading? Xiao Ningxun, do you know this is stock trading software? He Yuanhui, well, when I first got my smartphone, I downloaded a lot of software, including stock trading software. He Yuanyang, I have also researched it, and even saw the news about people who became rich by stock trading, and I also want to invest some money in it in the future. Xiao Ningxun said seriously, you don't have much experience yet, and you rarely read the news. If you want to get a share of the stock market in the future, do it according to your ability, because there are a lot of news about bankruptcies and jumping off buildings in the stock market. The 2 nodded. Don't worry, cousin, we have no plans to make money by trading stocks for the time being. Cousin, don't worry about me. The money we have is not enough to make a loss, and I can't bear to part with it. Xiao Ningxun, if you want to buy stocks in the future, please let me know before buying a company. She is not too worried yet. According to the regulations of Huaxia, only those over 18 years old can open an account. They are not yet old enough. They both said at the same time, okay, cousin. Xiao Ningxun continued to look at the stocks while thinking about his past life. Suddenly, she saw Suanzu Technology. As far as she knows, Suanzu Technology has been rising since its listing, from the issue price of 30 per share to more than 700 per share. But later the company encountered a crisis, and the stock price fell from more than 700 below the issue price to more than 20 per share. Later, it rose from more than 20 per share to nearly 800 per share. At the beginning, when she saw the historical stock price of Suanzu Technology, she was very regretful. Had she known that Suanzu Technology was rising so crazily, she would have invested in it even if she had to mortgage her house. The current stock price of Suanzu Technology is only 23 per share, which is a good time to buy. But it's a holiday today and there is no opening. She doesn't have an account either. She will ask her mother to apply for a stock trading account on her mobile phone one day and she will operate it. She has memories of her past life. She can make money by just buying it and lying down. There is no need not to make money. At this moment, Zhang Fuxian's phone rang. Zhang Fuxian ignored it and continued driving. It's just that the phone rang for a long time, and the person on the other end had no intention of giving up. Qiaoning Suan, Uncle Zhang, if you don't mind, I'll ask my cousin to pick it up for you. She is a woman, and if she rashly answers a man's call, the other person will definitely misunderstand her. End of chapter. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 285. Zhang Fuxian said apologetically, then I'll trouble boss he. For some reasons, he did not connect to the Bluetooth in the car. He Yuan Yang took the mobile phone and said, Uncle Zhang, just call me Yuan Yang from now on. There is no need to call me boss. Okay, okay. He Yuan Yang answered the phone and turned on the speakerphone. Hello, is this Lao Zhang? Uncle Zhang is driving. If you have anything to say, he can hear you. Oh, that's it? Lao Zhang, since you can hear me, I will tell you directly. Today your wife and I were talking. Your wife said that the school said that your child's living expenses and miscellaneous fees cannot be delayed any longer. The conditions at home are also average, and I really can't afford much money, so I can only lend her a few hundred yuan temporarily. She didn't dare to tell you. She got angry at home and fainted from anxiety today. But Dr. Barefoot said there is nothing wrong with her and she will be fine once she wakes up. If conditions permit, she can eat more delicious food in the future. Her health is really in bad shape, she is as skinny as skin and bones. If you get paid, take it home and give it to your wife as soon as possible. It's really hard for her to be alone. Zhang Fuxian was startled. I understand, thank you for telling me. He Yuan Yang hung up the phone. Qiaoning Sun calculated with her fingers that Zhang Fuxian's daughter-in-law was indeed frail and sickly. The fainting this time was just due to overwork and lack of nutrition. There is no other way. Zhang Fuxian is the only one in the family who makes money and spends it with 5 people. She is very frugal. It's okay if she doesn't save money. Everything is expensive now. If she spends extravagantly, the children will suffer. Qiaoning Suan, Uncle Zhang, haven't you paid your child's tuition and fees yet? It has already been a month since school started. Zhang Fuxian was a little embarrassed. Yeah, I have many children and a lot of expenses, so I can't save much money every month. I didn't have a job before, and I used the only savings I had, so now I'm really tight on money. But it doesn't matter, I have a job now, just wait until the salary is paid. He Yuanhui was a little curious. Uncle Zhang, I heard that you have 3 children in your family. Zhang Fuxian nodded. Yes, the first child was twin boys, 14 years old this year, in junior high school, and the second child was a single child, a girl, 10 years old this year, who came unexpectedly. I thought I was poor at first. Raising 2 sons is already stressful, and I don't want that child, but my wife is weak and the doctor said abortion would have a serious impact on her health, so I kept her. However, the 3 children are all filial. Knowing that their mother is not in good health, they rush to do the work whenever they are at home. Their grades are good and they don't let us worry. They say that our daughters are carrying little cotton-padded jackets, and that's true. Qiaoning Suan, Uncle Zhang, my child's school payment is in arrears, why didn't you tell me? Zhang Fuxian did not lie. His 3 children were indeed very filial and had good grades. They were all very independent people who would not let their parents worry. Zhang Fuxian, little boss, I just work. I'm really embarrassed to ask you to advance my salary. Qiaoning Suan, there is nothing to say. I will transfer 2 months' salary to you now. You can use it first. With that said, she opened her mobile banking and transferred 10,000 yuan to Zhang Fuxian. Although she said before that the probation period was 2 months, judging from their work attitude during this period, they were indeed honest and reliable people, so she increased them to 5,000 per month at the same time, even though they are still in the probation period. Zhang Fuxian was moved when he heard the notification tone on his cell phone. Little boss, I really don't know how to thank you. You really solved my urgent need. Qiaoning Sun, it's okay, take it, you deserve it. I'm your boss. If you have anything to do in the future, just ask. If you can help me, I will definitely help. Thank you, boss. Zhang Fuxian was really moved. He originally thought that he would be working with a small company this time. The boss was still a child and would definitely be very willful. If you don't go as well as she wants, you will definitely be beaten and scolded, and you may be fired at any time in the future. But he didn't expect that the small boss had a garment factory behind him. He had strong earning power and was very kind to his employees. His salary had been rising again and again, and now it reached 5,000 a month. He was really flattered. He can only repay her by working hard in the future. The three of them soon met up with Du Kunpeng. At this time, their cars were parked on the road in the suburbs. Du Kunpeng had been standing outside the car. When he saw Qiaoningsun's car arriving, he immediately got in and led the way. Before Qiaoningsun set off, he gave him the license plate number of his car. Du Kunpeng was driving his own car just like last time, with a truck following behind him. He was not surprised that Qiaoningsun bought a car. When you make so much money, you should improve your life. After an hour, the car stopped in a parking lot. The group of people met quickly. Unexpectedly, as soon as they arrived, several cars followed them. Seeing the people coming down from above, Qiaoningsun stood patiently, waiting for them to come over. Qiaoningsun smiled and said, "Chu Yanyi, Mr. Suo, Lu Jing'ai, you are here too." Unexpectedly, Suo Hongfeng also came. Since the last time she became Suo Hongfeng's personal consultant, she has been in constant contact with him. After going back and forth, the two of them became familiar with each other. Chu Yanyi nodded, "I have nothing to do, come and take a look." Suo Hongfeng said seriously, "The business of Suo's jewelry has not been very good recently. I plan to come and select a batch of jadeite in person." Qiaoningsun actually knows Chu Yanyi. Isn't she an ordinary person? Even the most favored young master of the Chu family knows him. Lu Jing'ai, wherever my cousin is, I will be there. He Yuan Yang and He Yuan Hui frowned at the same time. Why do they feel that this sentence is familiar? By the way, this is the current portrayal of the two of them. As long as there is a holiday, they seem to be wherever the cousin is. Qiaoningsun nodded, "That's it?" After Suo Hongfeng greeted the others, he greeted He Yuan Yang and He Yuan Hui alone. Du Kunpeng also greeted them and said seriously, "Everyone, it's getting late, let's go in quickly. If you go in for a little longer, you will probably lose one good thing. Chu Yanyi, let's go." Du Kunpeng leads the way. Lu Jing'ai was more adventurous and came to Qiaoningsun. "Qiaoningsun, I heard that you sold another 200 million yuan of jade last time." Suo Hongfeng was stunned and looked at Qiaoningsun in surprise. She is actually so powerful? Suo Xingxin also said that Qiaoningsun approached him because of money, and he was a rich man himself. Qiaoningsun smiled and said, "Yes, thanks to Uncle Du's introduction, I can sell it at a fair price." Du Kunpeng, "It's okay, we are all friends, and we should help each other." Qiaoningsun glanced at Suo Hongfeng, then turned her head calmly, "By the way, how is Mr. Chu's health now? Several months have passed since my treatment." End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 286. Suo Hongfeng frowned slightly. Qiaoningsun could actually treat illnesses. And didn't Mr. Chu have cancer? Will Qiaoningsun also treat cancer? Chu Yanyi asked in a low voice, "You don't mind others knowing that you have medical skills?" Chiao Ningsun also responded in a low voice, "I don't mind." Chu Yanyi stood up straight again, "He is very good. He is getting more energetic every day. Now he cherishes his life. He gets up at 5 o'clock every day to exercise and goes to bed at 9 o'clock. His work and rest time is very regular. What he eats is strictly in accordance with nutrition. He eats the food prepared by his teacher, and the doctor checks him every day, and they all say that he is getting younger and younger now." "That's good." Suo Hongfeng asked doubtfully, "Miss Jiao, can you still treat patients?" Chiao Ningxuan, "Yes, I studied ancient medicine by myself and know a little bit about it." Seeing her modesty, Du Kunpeng was worried that Suo Hongfeng really thought she only knew a little bit, so he quickly explained, "She knows more than a little bit. She cured the brain tumor I had last time and now there are no sequelae at all." He also heard what Chu Yanyi said to her just now, so of course he wanted to support her. Chu Yanyi echoed, "Ningxuan, you are too humble. You have cured the old man's terminal cancer, let alone just a little bit." Haha. Chiao Ningxun smiled and said, "Human, you have to be humble." Suo Hongfeng was extremely shocked. Since she could even cure brain tumors and cancer, it showed that her medical skills had reached their peak. It seems that it was useful for him to come with him today, and he actually got such useful news. Having good medical skills and fortune-telling, is Chiao Ningxun the disciple of some outsider? As he was about to reach the door, he didn't ask any more questions. The rough stone market we came to this time was bigger than the one Chiao Ningxun went to before. Looking at the people coming in and out of the door, you can tell that it is even more lively than the previous one. Chiao Ningxun and her cousins were a little excited. In Chiao Ningxun's opinion, people come here just to pick up money. From the perspective of He Yuan Yang and He Yuan Hui, as long as their cousin is here, they are no better than picking up money. Except for the 3 people from Lao Chiao's family, everyone else seems to be a regular visitor here. When the staff at the door saw Chu Yanyi and others, they warmly greeted them and invited them in respectfully. Chiao Ningxun looked at the situation inside carefully. Compared with the rough stone market last time, this place was indeed much larger and more formal. Each person's stall is also larger and there are more rough stones on display. There are even people patrolling every road. Some large stalls have their own stone clearing masters, who can break the stone on the spot after buying it. There is no need to go to the market for people to break the stone. Chiao Ningxun recited the incantation and glanced at the stones here. Not bad, although bean species account for the majority, there are also a lot of imperial green and other glass species. Looking at the quality of the rough stones here, she felt as if the jadeite from the last rough stone market had been carefully selected by the people in this rough stone market. The probability of finding jade here is much higher than last time. Unconsciously, Chiao Ningxun walked in the front, and the others followed behind her. "Cousin." Chiao Ningxun came back to his senses when he heard the voice, "What? Uncle Du is talking to you." Chiao Ningxun was a little embarrassed, coughed slightly and said, "Uncle Du, I'm sorry, I was distracted. This place is actually bigger than the last place. I haven't seen the world." Du Kunpeng said with a smile, "It's okay. When I first came here, I was just like you. In the future, we can go to a larger rough stone market and see the world. I just want to ask, where do you plan to start?" Chiao Ningxun looked at Chu Yanyi and Suo Hongfeng. "Where are you?" Chu Yanyi glanced at the mixed crowd around him and said, "I'll stay with you for now." Lu Jing'ai also stared at the surroundings with a vigilant expression. There are many people in this place and the management is not strict. Chiao Ningxun is a little girl. Although she has magic formulas, they are not very relieved to let 3 minors stay here. Suo Hongfeng also said, "I will stay with you for the time being." He wanted to see how capable Chiao Ningxun was. "Okay." As soon as Chiao Ningxun finished speaking, A cry of pain could be heard not far away. Ah! My 1 million is ruined like this. God, do you really want me to die? Xiaoningsun turned around and saw that her cousin and cousin wanted to see the excitement, so she had no choice but to lead them over. As I got closer, I saw a field in front of me that was dissecting stones. Many people were surrounding the stone dissecting machine and watching the excitement. A fat man was holding a cut stone and was heartbroken. A man next to him said, "Okay, don't cry. I just cut it in half. There is no jade in the middle. What if there are jade on both sides? You can still take a gamble." Xiaoningsun looked at the fat man's appearance and shook his head helplessly. As expected, she didn't understand the thoughts of rich people. This man's family fortune is at least 4 to 5 billion, but he only lost 1 million, which was not enough for him to live in for 2 days, so he was in such a hurry. Wait a minute, maybe this is a show for outsiders to watch. She counted it with her fingers and understood clearly. Haha, a scheming stinky man. Most people really can't see his purpose. Chu Yanyi looked at the fat man and sneered in his heart. This kind of trick has been used for thousands of years, but people still use it. Lu Jing'ai also saw the fat man's purpose and looked uninterested. The fat man seemed to think that the man was right. He quickly stood up and placed the original stone on the ground. "You can untie it for me, and then cut the 2 halves for me from the middle." The stone cutter started cutting according to his instructions. With just 2 cuts, the original stone was divided into 4 pieces, and there was no jade at all. It collapsed, it really collapsed. However, these 4 rough stones are larger than many whole rough stones. Maybe with a few more cuts, jade can be cut out. Looking at the performance of this rough stone, it's actually really good. I'm also surprised that there's nothing in it. It must have collapsed. Don't think about it. Cutting again is just a waste of labor. We charge by the knife here. One more knife will cost more. Makes sense. The fat man was already crying and asked, "Master Zhu, you have more experience, do you think I should make more cuts?" Master Zhu said expressionlessly, "If you ask me, of course I would say cut it. After all, the more cuts I make, the more money I will make." The fat man choked. After struggling for 2 minutes, he said with a painful look on his face, "Forget it, I won't cut it. Any more cutting will be a waste of money." As he said that, he glanced at the people watching. "Didn't some of you just ask me to make a few more cuts? Why don't you take over? I spent millions on this rough stone, and I have already made a few more cuts. It should be worth tens of thousands. Is anyone willing to take it over?" End of chapter. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 287. Xiaoningsun sneered, finally showing his true colors. This stone was eliminated by a professional. He said he spent millions, but in fact he only spent a few hundred yuan to get it. Actually want others to accept tens of thousands, without losing money or want to make a fortune. Hearing this, the people around him shook their heads. "It's already like this, I won't take over." "That's right, it's obvious that this rough stone has collapsed, and I was a fool to take over. However, some rough stones may only have jade in a small corner. Maybe if you take over, jade will actually be found. Then give it a try." A man in blue asked, "How much do you pay?" The fat man didn't expect that someone would actually come to take over. He immediately changed his expression and said with a smile, "Just give me 50,000 yuan. In this way, he can earn more than 40,000 yuan, which makes him happy just thinking about it. 50,000, it's too expensive. I think 500 is about the same." 500, the fat man suddenly became angry. Where does this poor guy come from? He can't even afford 50,000. Sold for 500 yuan, wouldn't his work have been in vain? The man in blue sneered, "Of course I can afford 50,000, but I don't want you to earn that much. Those rough stones are just waste now. 500 is too much for me. The fat man frowned and said, I won't go out without 50,000 yuan. The man in blue snorted, turned around and left. Seeing that there were many people around, the fat man smiled again and said, everyone, do you want 50,000? No, do you think we are fools? Even for 50,000 yuan, I can buy a rough stone several times better than yours. That's right, that's right. The fat man choked, then 49,000. No one wants it? 48,000. Still no one wants it? The fat man spoke more than 10 numbers in a row, but no one answered him. The fat man was angry and looked like he was smashing a can. 500 yuan, does anyone want 500 yuan? It seems that I made a mistake today. This kind of trick has been tried hundreds of times before, but it didn't work well. Have these people also been deceived into becoming spirits? The fat man glanced at the crowd and saw that the man who had just offered 500 yuan had left. He had no choice but to continue to lower the price. What about the 200 yuan? At least let him get back the money he paid for the stone. Chiao Ningxun suddenly said, 100 yuan, I want it. The people behind her didn't object, it was only 100 yuan, just think she wanted to have fun with it. The fat man immediately regretted it. Just now, a fool gave him 500 and he refused to change his hand. Now someone else gave him 100. He suffered a heavy loss. Let's count 100 as 100. He nodded, okay. Chiao Ningxun gave him 100 yuan, walked to the pile of rough stones, and said to the master of stone analysis, cut them all from the middle. Master Zhu glanced at Chiao Ningxun, who was wearing a mask, okay. The fat man didn't leave either, and watched Master Zhu unraveling the stone leisurely. If this stone really can't solve anything, then this girl is a joke and spent money to buy a bunch of rubbish. Ha ha ha. It's funny just thinking about it. Although he didn't make much today, the loss wasn't too much and he could afford it. Master Zhu analyzed the stones one by one, and as most people expected, there was indeed no jadeite. When the seventh piece was cut, the crowd looked at Chiao Ningxun as if they were a fool. There is really too much money and no use. Now it's better. Not only will I be compensated for 100 yuan, but I will also be compensated for the labor of dismantling the stone. That's right, we have been here for so many years, and we still have a good vision. If we don't take action, it will definitely be a waste stone. Children are still too young, so they should experience some severe beatings from society, so as not to be like my children when they first came out of society, thinking that people in society are as simple as people in school. That's right. Before the man finished speaking, he was shocked when he saw the eighth piece of waste stone cut out. Master Zhu turned the cut rough stone over and looked at it with a flashlight. His face was full of shock, it turned out green, and it looked like glass. What? The fat man suddenly lost his composure and wanted to step forward to take a look. He had just taken a few steps when Chu Yanyi and Suo Hongfeng stepped forward at the same time and stopped him. Chu Yanyi looked coldly, Master hasn't looked at it yet, why do you have the nerve to look at it first? The fat man choked and had no choice but to withdraw his foot unwillingly. Master Zhu saw Chiao Ningxun coming over and asked, shall I continue to solve it? Chiao Ningxun nodded, well, let's continue, but this time we will wipe the stone. Good. Master Zhu then carefully wiped the stone. After a long time, a complete jadeite was exposed. After Master Zhu wiped the surface clean, the crowd suddenly exploded. How does this feel like a glass species? It seems to be so green. Is it the legendary Imperial Green? Most likely, it's Imperial Green. Oh my god, the rough stone that others didn't want turned out to be Imperial Green. What kind of enviable luck is this? He Yuan Yang and He Yuan Hui looked at each other and smiled at the same time. They know that the cousin cousin, will not spend money in vain. After Suo Hongfeng asked for Qiaoningsun's consent, he took it in his hand and looked at it carefully. It's indeed imperial green, although it's not big, it's still worth a lot of money. Qiaoningsun's luck is also very good. The rough stone he bought for 100 yuan is enough for an ordinary person's family to have food and drink for a lifetime. Qiaoningsun smiled. Just now she saw this piece of imperial green through perspective when she came here. The excitement this time was not in vain. I actually missed it. The people around him suddenly looked at the fat man as if he were a fool. There is still no chance of getting rich. God has sent the money to his hands, but it can still slip out of his hands. The fat man noticed the looks around him, and felt very uncomfortable in his heart. He said unwillingly, "Little girl, I will give you 100 yuan back. I won't sell it. You can also give me back this piece of imperial green. This is what it is, my stuff." Qiaoningsun's face darkened, and his tone was cold. "You want to cheat?" The fat man said sinisterly, "Little girl, I have never seen you before. This must be your first time here. I have been here for more than 10 years. If you return this piece of imperial green to me, we can still make friends, my friend. I can protect you in the future, but if you don't pay it back, you will probably only have this chance to come here in your life, and if it's serious, you may even go to jail." Qiaoningsun calmed down and said, "I won't pay it back. I'll see what you can do to me. If you don't drink a toast, you'll have to drink wine as a penalty." As soon as the fat man finished speaking, more than a dozen big men came towards him from the crowd. Master Zhu frowned and said, "Fat man, you are not being kind." The fat man snorted, "Don't mind my business." Qiaoningsun glanced at those people lightly and said with a smile, "It seems that you are going to rob them?" "Fat man, I just took back what belongs to me. If I give you another chance, why don't you give it back to me? Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible." Author, Qingjie Chen Chen. Chapter 288. Qiaoningsun, this piece of imperial green belongs to me. Fat man, come here, get the jade back for me. Yes. Chu Yanyi narrowed his eyes dangerously and suddenly stood in front of Qiaoningsun. Suo Hongfeng and other men, including He Yuan Yang and He Yuan Hui, as well as their drivers, also took a step forward at the same time, but still stood behind Qiaoningsun. "Chu Yanyi, it turns out that the management of this rough stone market is so loose. If you regret the things you sell, you can take them back. I don't think there is any need to exist here anymore." Qiaoningsun raised his eyebrows. These words are really domineering. Also, since he is the young master of the Chu family and the boss behind Zhengxuan, such words must be commonplace for him. Just as the fat man was about to speak, a group of people in black suits came over from a distance. The leader came to Chu Yanyi and said politely, "Master Chu, I didn't know you were coming. Please forgive me for not coming out to greet you in time." Suo Hongfeng said quietly, "It seems that not only your ears are bad, but your eyes are also bad." The man followed the sound, his face changed, and he said in a rude manner, "It turns out that young Master Suo is here too. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry." The crowd looked at the situation here in surprise. "Master Chu? Could it be that young master from the Chu family who just came back not long ago? Master Suo? The eldest son of the Sox group?" These two people actually came at the same time. "Chu Yanyi, solve the matter quickly and don't ruin my friend's interest." "Suo Hongfeng, I feel bad when I look at this person." Qi Yishu hurriedly said, "Yes, I will solve it immediately. It was because something happened elsewhere. The people patrolling here have all passed. I promise that this kind of thing will not happen again in the future." After finishing speaking, he shouted loudly, "Come here, throw this fat man out. He is not allowed to come in again." "Yes." The fat man was shocked and said, "Lao Chi, We are friends, how can you treat me like this? Chi Yusha frowned and said, I am not your friend. You were just taken by my partner to have a meal with me. Friend. You are not worthy. As soon as he finished speaking, Chi Yusha's people quickly caught the fat man and dragged him out. He Yun Yang, He Yun Hui, and the drivers were stunned. Is the matter resolved like this? Chi Yusha turned around and said, You two young masters, are you satisfied? Chu Yanyi, that's it, we have to take another look without your company. That's all you can do, only his people can do the rest. Yes, please go ahead and I'm going to work. After Chi Yusha left, Chiao Ningsun put the jade in Ren Quanshanla's box. The group of people could no longer stay here and began to do their own business. Suo Hongfeng said seriously, Miss Chiao. Chiao Ningsun smiled and said, Mr. Suo, just call me Chiao Ningsun. Suo Hongfeng nodded, then you can also call me Brother Suo. Okay. Chiao Ningsun, you said you can tell fortunes. Did you guess that there is imperial green in that rough stone? You can also say that. Suo Hongfeng didn't ask any more questions after hearing this. This man's ability is greater than he imagined. In order not to miss the good stuff, the group decided to look at it from the inside, so that they could go out after reading it. Arriving at the innermost stall, the group of people all looked at it seriously. As before, in order to prevent Jiao Ningsun from being too conspicuous, even if they asked her for her opinions, they were very vague. The stall here is indeed bigger than the previous one. Jiao Ningsun just glanced at it and saw a lot of glass types. She planned to give Du Kunpeng and her cousin a choice first, and then she would not make a choice until their budgets were used up. Since Du Kunpeng was an outsider, Jiao Ningsun helped him choose first. The rough stones here are all numbered, which is more convenient than the display there last time. Originally, Jiao Ningsun wanted to help Du Kunpeng choose directly, but Du Kunpeng said that he wanted to practice his own vision. If it was inconvenient for Jiao Ningsun to come with him in the future, he could use his experience to buy rough stones. Jiao Ningsun didn't object either. Du Kunpeng first wrote down the numbers he was optimistic about, and then sent them to Jiao Ningsun. After Jiao Ningsun read it, he sent the good numbers to Du Kunpeng. This speed is indeed slower. By the time Du Kunpeng uses up his budget, he has already visited 20 stalls. Du Kunpeng gave money and asked people to move all the rough stones onto the truck. As before, he returned to Jiao Ningsun to protect her. As for Suo Hongfeng and Chu Yanyi, seeing that Du Kunpeng was back, they also went to choose their own rough stones. Given that Jiao Ningsun already knows the situation of the top 20 companies, it is said that a good horse never turns back, so Jiao Ningsun has not turned back yet. But start from the 21st chapter. She helped her cousin and cousin choose first. They had completely believed in their cousin's abilities, so they spent only a few $1,000s before they stopped. But the two brothers together only have a total of more than 10 million, so they can't buy much. The quality of the rough stones here is good, but it is also much more expensive than the last rough stone market. The boxes they brought were too small, and they bought a lot this time, so they temporarily borrowed Du Kunpeng's truck. Du Kunpeng had no objection and readily agreed. Finally arrived at the 28th stall, and Jiao Ningsun began to choose his own. As soon as she entered, a huge rough stone in the middle caught her eye. It's a lot of green, it's still imperial green, and it's bigger than the 100 million imperial green she bought last time. Jiao Ningsun was very excited in her heart, but she said extremely calmly, Cousin, what do you think of this rough stone? He Yuanyang understood what his cousin meant, it's not bad. It looks good. If you like it, buy it. Jiao Ningsun smiled and said, well, I think it looks good too. Boss, how much does this rough stone cost? When the boss heard this, he was very helpless. This is a big piece, and the appearance is also very good. It costs 10 million, no negotiation. This group of young people, you can tell at a glance that they are young ladies from rich families. He has received many such guests. He just feels that he is lucky and wants to take a gamble and prove to his family that he is not a waste. Their tone is the same as Jiaoningsuan's. I don't know anything, I just look at the appearance and buy it if it looks good. Okay, Jiaoningsun looked at the others and selected a few more rough stones. Ask, how much do they add up to? Boss, 16 million. Jiaoningsun didn't hesitate, quickly gave her money, and asked someone to help her move the big pieces to the truck, and put the small pieces in the box. She personally supervised them loading into the car and quickly returned to the market. As soon as she arrived at the 29th stall, a girl stopped her, pointed to the stall next door, and said with arrogance, "Did you buy the largest rough stone from the stall just now?" You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 289. Chapter 289. Give me 500 million and I will give it to you. Seeing the person coming, Jiaoningsun raised his eyebrows and said, "So what?" "Another person I know. The person in front of me is none other than Lin Qiao. It seems that she hasn't gotten sick yet today. Since the last time Lin Qiao came to her to resolve the curse, she had asked her to get sick again every 2 or 3 days to avoid damaging her own reputation. Lin Qiao also approached her for medical treatment later, but she always rejected him on the grounds that she was not good at studying. Lin Qiao looked at Jiaoningsun's face carefully and suddenly said loudly, "It's you, how could you appear here?" After speaking, she glanced around and asked, "Did you come here with Brother Yanya again?" Jiaoningsun deliberately angered her, "Yes, he has gone elsewhere for the time being." Lin Qiao saw her proud look and said angrily, "Stay away from Brother Yanya." Jiaoningsun snorted, "I don't. You are not mine. Why should I listen to you?" "You," Lin Qiao was almost angry to death. Jiaoningsun turned around and left. Only then did Lin Qiao remember that she had something else to do, so she went over and stopped in front of Jiaoningsun, saying, "I will settle accounts with you later on about Brother Yanya. You can set a price and sell the rough stone, give it to me. I was interested in that piece of rough stone first, but I got separated from my family. I went to find them and gave them money, but who knew that it would be bought by you in just a short time?" "That's it," Jiaoningsun said, "if you want to buy it back, that's fine, it's 500 million, give me 500 million and I'll give it to you." Suo Hongfeng happened to come over, and the corner of his mouth curled up when he heard this. Sure enough, Jiaoningsun is not an ordinary girl. The average girl dares to ask for 500 million from others. "What?" Lin Qiao's eyes widened in shock, 500 million. "Do you know how much 500 million is? The boss just offered 10 million. Jiaoningsun calmed down and said, "The rough stone just now belonged to the boss. He offered a price of 10 million, which was his valuation of the rough stone. I am now the owner of the rough stone. I offered a price of 500 million, which is my valuation of the rough stone. If you can afford it, just buy it. If you can't afford it, forget it. Why are you so surprised? You are simply blackmailing me." Suo Hongfeng took a step forward and said, "Ms. Lin, Jiaoningsun is not blackmailing you. She just sold her rough stones at a higher price. She didn't ask you for money for no reason, and she didn't threaten you with anything." Lin Qiao saw that Suo Hongfeng was here, her face immediately turned red, and she said softly, "Brother Suo, you are here too." Jiaoningsun raised his eyebrows when he saw Lin Qiao's expression. This person is too carefree. Does he fall in love with everyone he meets? Although Chu Yanyi and Suo Hongfeng are good looking, they won't change their minds when they see different things, right? Suo Hongfeng ignored her and looked at Father Lin and Mother Lin, who had just walked over behind him. Father Lin stepped forward with a smile. Boy from the Suo family, you are here in person today. Mother Lin, it seems that you and our Chiao Chiao are really destined. Suo Hongfeng then looked at Lin Chiao Chiao. Is she cured? Mother Lin looked like a mother-in-law looking at her son-in-law, and the more she looked at her, the more she fell in love with her. It's okay for now. No, our jewelry company is going to do a big purchase recently, so we brought her here in person. Although it is not completely cured, we still have to bring people out to show their faces. Otherwise, if those wealthy families knew that Lin Chiao Chiao had been ill for such a long time, they would guess that she would have difficulty having children in the future and would not consider letting her marry into their family. Then her daughter's life is ruined. Suo Hongfeng, that's it? Father Lin looked at Jiao Ningxun next to him again. Who is this lady? Jiao Ningxun was still wearing a mask. I am Brother Suo's friend. Just now she just took off her mask to breathe, but unexpectedly, Lin Chiao Chiao saw her. Father Lin didn't ask any more questions. Since the rough stone was bought by Suo Hongfeng's friends, it is not easy for them to it. Then let's go do our work first, and let's have dinner together when we have the opportunity. Suo Hongfeng, okay. Lin Chiao Chiao thought that Suo Hongfeng was usually very kind to her, so she didn't ask for her parents' opinions and asked presumptuously, Brother Hongfeng, I really took a fancy to your friend's rough stone first. Yes, can you help us persuade her to sell it to us at a low price? It's definitely not possible for her to ask for 500 million. She had a feeling that there must be jade in that rough stone, and it was of good quality. If the jade blooms, she will become famous in the company, and she will be able to work in the company more smoothly in the future, lest others say she is a flower vase. Suo Hongfeng said quietly, how much can you offer? Lin Chiao Chiao originally wanted to say 10 million, but this would definitely make people feel insincere, so she doubled the number and said, then let's say 20 million. Suo Hongfeng's voice was a bit colder. Can you give up more than 400 million profits at your own risk? Lin Chiao Chiao wanted to say something else, but Lin's father said, since that rough stone already has an owner, it means it has no fate with us. We won't bother with it anymore. It's the same as buying other ones. Suo family boy, let's take our leave first. Suo Hongfeng nodded. Lin Chiao Chiao didn't want to leave. She also wanted to spend more time with Suo Hongfeng. But before she could tell her parents, her body began to tremble again. Mother Lin's expression changed, and she quickly put on the coat in her hand. Oops, you're sick again, let's get in the car and go home. Father Lin was also anxious. The family of three left quickly with their bodyguards. He Yuan Yang and He Yuan Hui looked at each other and then at their calm cousin. Their bodies suddenly trembled. It must have been my cousin who did something else. Jiao Ningxun snorted and continued to look at the original stone. Finally came to the rough stone market once. After learning that there were trucks available for rent, Jiao Ningxun no longer restrained himself and chose quickly. As soon as she selected the stone, she would have it transported to the parking lot, and then let Zhang Fushan and Ren Quanshan guard it. As long as someone sent the rough stone, they would receive it. It's just that it's so big here that Jiao Ningxun didn't finish reading it until noon. So after the group had lunch, they continued to look around with Jiao Ningxun. She didn't stop until the two rented trucks were full and the money was almost used up. The route home was different, so Jiao Ningxun moved the rough stones that were previously placed in Du Kunpeng's car to the truck he rented. 2 hours later, the group went back to their homes. Jiao Ningxun returned to the villa in Tianling community with her cousin. Jiao Ningxun paid the truck driver alone and asked them to help her move all the rough stones to the basement. Of course, Zhang Fushan and Ren Quanshan also helped them carry it, and they were happy to help. Half an hour later, Jiaoning soon asked the others to go out first, and turned to his cousin and said, I will find someone to extract these rough stones of yours together with mine, and they can be sold in a few days. You guys don't be anxious just yet. End of this chapter. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 290. He Yuanyang understood Jiaoningsun's intention of not dissecting the stone on the spot in the rough stone market, and said with a smile, well, cousin, you can figure it out, we are not in a hurry. He Yuanhui also said, I'm not in a hurry, just take your time. The three of them left the basement again, and Jiaoningsun went to the door to give money to the drivers. Before giving them the money, she gave them all a pass to ignore. Although this is a villa area, ordinary people cannot enter, but the wealth should not be exposed, so be careful. When they leave her place, they will forget what happened here, and they will even forget what they moved tonight. Even if others mention it, they can't remember it. 3 days later, He Yuanyang, a senior in high school, had returned to school to make up classes. Jiaoningsun asked Guan Qianfu to drive her own truck to the villa in Tianling community, and transport all the rough stones she extracted through the air to Junhua's jewelry factory. With her clairvoyance, the jadeite selected are all of the best quality. This time the quantity was large. The three of them actually sold the rough stones for a total of 1 billion. He Yuanyang's 150 million, He Yuanhu has 130 million, and Jiaoningsun 720 million. After seeing off Jiaoningsun and He Yuanhui, Zhou Shennian quickly arrived at the warehouse. A senior carving master was selecting materials. When he saw Zhou Shennian, he said with a smile, Mr. Zhou, the quality of these jadeites is really good these days. You can carve a lot of large ornaments. The company's profits will definitely be better. Zhou Shennian also smiled and nodded, thanks to Du Kunpeng's introduction, that child has a very vicious eye. I didn't expect her harvest to be so good. The master didn't say much more. He chose a piece of jade and started carving it according to the customer's instructions. When He Yuanhui walked out of the gate of the wandering jewelry factory, his feet were dangling. More than 100 million. There is actually more than 100 million in his bank card now. In the past few months, he wanted to drop out of school and work to make money to supplement his family's income. Unexpectedly, he suddenly became rich overnight and had a net worth of 100 million. This is almost like a dream. He Yuanhui suddenly took Jiaoningsun's hand and said, cousin, slap me and let me see if I am dreaming. Jiaoningsun saw her cousin's appearance and helplessly stretched out her hand to pinch his face. Does it hurt? Do you know you're not dreaming? He Yuanhui jumped up immediately, it's really not a dream. Jiaoningsun smiled and said, okay, don't act like you've won a big prize, or someone will kidnap you. He Yuanhui's face suddenly changed, he looked around cautiously, and said solemnly, my cousin is right, cousin, thank you very much. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have such a good life. Jiaoningsun, you're welcome, you were raised by my mother, and I regard you as my biological brother. He Yuanhui said seriously, cousin, don't worry, I also treat you as my biological sister, and I will take good care of my second aunt in her old age. Jiaoningsun, then you must keep your word. No matter how busy you are at work, you must always go home to see my mother and grandparents. He Yuanhui nodded, well, I listen to you. The two of them got into their car and drove to the clothing factory. He Yuanyang was about to go for lunch when a text message suddenly came to his phone. When I opened it, I was excited when I saw those numbers. 150 million. Shen Boyu asked, what's wrong? He Yuanyang smiled and said, the salary from the previous job has been paid. Shen Boyu, oh, you said you went to work during the holidays. He Yuanyang nodded, yes. Shen Boyu suggested, why don't we have a meal together at noon today? He Yuan Yang, okay, I'll treat you to some. When the conditions at home were not good before, his rich roommates often invited him to dinner. And it's all in the name of something he can't refuse, such as their birthday, or celebrating good grades in exams, etc. Although he later invited him back, the amount he invited was nothing compared to what his rich roommates invited. At first he didn't want to owe them too much, but after his classmates found out, they said that friends don't need to care too much about money. If you feel that you owe them something and you can make money by yourself after working, just treat them to a few more big meals. At that time, he did not want people to think that he was not a gregarious person, so he had no choice but to follow them. Now that he has money, of course he wants to invite him back. Shenboyu smiled and said, okay, I want to eat fish, why don't we go eat grilled fish? He knew that He Yuanyang's family conditions were better now, so he could afford grilled fish. In the past, he would only suggest eating ordinary stir-fried vegetables. He Yuanyang, you don't have to save money for me. My cousin helped me earn some money, and I can buy a lot of things. He must apply for another card when he has time. He can't make people believe that he has money now, so he shows them the text message with a balance of more than 100 million. The behavior of the nouveau riche was what he looked down upon the most in the past. Shenboyu raised his eyebrows, what about seafood hot pot? He Yuanyang, okay, let's go to the one near the school. It tastes good and it's convenient to go back and forth. Shenboyu was stunned, have you been there before? He Yuanyang, well, I went there with my family before. Shenboyu knew that he was talking about his second aunt taking him there, so he nodded, okay, let's go there. He Yuanyang also called everyone in the same dormitory with him. Feng Zikai hesitated for a moment, but nodded. Seafood hot pot, he has never had it in his life. After Chiao Ningxun and He Yuanhui left jewelry, they had money in their hands and went to see many real estate properties. After deciding on the house they wanted to buy, the two went to Xingxia garment factory. The security guard at the door saw the familiar car and immediately opened the door. The Xingxia garment factory at this time was completely different from when they first arrived. Deputy Factory Director Zhou was in a meeting when he heard the security report that Chiao Ningxun was coming, so he hurriedly led people to greet him at the door. After Chiao Ningxun's car arrived, they also arrived. Seeing Chiao Ningxun get out of the car, everyone smiled. Can you not laugh? A month ago they thought they were going to lose their jobs. Since Chiao Ningxun took over the Xingxia garment factory, he not only brought the factory back to life, but also increased their wages a lot. Some people calculate their wages by the piece. If they calculate the salary they get, they can double or triple it, making their family's life better. He Yuanhui whispered, cousin, the way they look at you is like seeing the god of wealth coming. Chiao Ningxun just smiled. That's right, Xingxia garment factory is now coming back to life thanks to her, she is their god of wealth. Deputy Director Zhou smiled warmly and said, Director Chiao, you are here. Mr. He-er, you are here too. Chiao Ningxun said, Uncle Zhou, you're welcome, just call me Ningxun. He Yuanhui also said, just call me Yuanhui. Although he is the second eldest child, he doesn't like to be called second. End of chapter.